Hello, hi. Welcome to the Glowing Skin series. I'm Christine Ho, and today I have Dr. Darrell Wolfe. He is known as the Doc of Detox and with over 36 years of natural medicine. So welcome and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here, to be part of this.
Oh, yes, thank you. It's also an honor to have you here too. Tell us your personal story.
Well, the reason why I got into health is back when I was 17 years old. I used to live with my grandfather that lived in Newfoundland, and when I was much younger. And then when I was 17, I lived in Ontario, and he came to stay with us because he ended up having colorectal cancer.
Oh.
And he had just gone into retirement. And of course, at 17, and my mother, we were the average people, which means that we ate our basic diet, which is the basic diet in North America, is a diet that creates autoimmune disease. You know that. So, dairy, meat, bread, cheese, and then lots of fast foods because, we just never were taught to do any differently. So, but the thing is that when my grandfather got colon cancer, he got colon cancer. Well, I believe that all disease stems from emotional. At least 99% of it is emotional, and I can prove that. Not today, but it's scientifically easy to prove, and because all our emotions guide us to what we do. Our emotions guide us to what we think, what we do, how we act. And, when you were ever feeling out of balance and upset, would you go make yourself a salad, or would you eat ice cream and cookies? Or would you go have yourself a glass of wine? Or would you go have yourself a cigarette? Or would you go have yourself a toke or something like that? Because we're always trying to change our state. And people have never been taught ever. We're never taught this. We're never taught to actually that the most important thing that we could ever do in our life is to learn how to master our mind, to master our emotions, to get rid of the dysfunctional beliefs that were handed down through our family, from our schools, from different types of sectors, religions, societies. And it's all masterminded because the food corporations, the people that make the wine, the alcohol, the cigarettes, and even the government, they back all these people. But why I'm a little off track is because what is accepted as normal today is actually putting the human species on the endangered species list. Now, my grandfather came to us, and every day of his life, he would have 3 or 4 beers, okay? And the best way to get colorectal cancer is to have 3 or 4 beers every day of your life. Now, when he came to us, he was in severe pain, and my mother took him to the hospital. He went to the hospital. He was there for 5 days. We went to visit him, and the one thing that we found out is that they weren't looking after him. They weren't even getting his bowels to move. So think about this. He's got colorectal cancer, and he hasn't moved his bowels for 5 days. So he's in reeking pain. So my mother and I thought, well, I used to see an enema bag underneath my other grandparents' bed. And I said to my mother, why don't we just bring him home and see if we can clean him out ourselves? So basically, it wasn't fun. It was really quite difficult, actually, emotionally, at 17 years old, and for my mother. But we finally got my grandfather's bowels cleaned out and moving again. Okay, so anyways, we didn't turn his cancer around. But what we did do was alleviate 80 to 85% of the pain that he was suffering just by getting his bowels moved. See, you have to understand that in society, the medical system and health systems and doctors and even natural health doctors like to take the credit. But you know what? It's the sewer system that needs to take the credit. We used to get sick and get all these different types of skin diseases and viruses and infections and bacterial problems because our sewage wasn't great back, 200 or 300 years ago. And so as soon as we got my grandfather's sewage system better, guess what happened? So the pain came down because he wasn't absorbing this waste that was going into his bloodstream, that was creating the inflammation, that was creating the pain, which is creating the mutation. So not just that, but as soon as we got his bowels moving, guess what? His skin color came back. Boom. He had fungus and eczema on most of his body. That came down right away as well. So that taught me a large lesson.
Okay, wow, that's amazing. So you use natural medicine to help your grandfather get better?
Absolutely. And you got to understand, I was in my infancy stages there as well. And then as time went on, what I did was when I was 19 years old, after this happened when I was 17, I hitchhiked to Gary, Indiana, and I actually became a colon therapist at 19. So, you know, that's the way life is, though. That's the way life is. Through chaos, through drama, through traumatic experiences, those are the greatest teachings in our life. And we need to realize that, and people don't. People think that every time there's a detour, oh my God, that's not the way I was going. Well, you have to understand that, oh my God, was probably giving you that detour because it's a better way to go. And when there's a bump in the road, it's telling you to slow down. So the bumps and the detours in our life are very necessary, but society teaches us that to have tantrums all our life. I mean, most adults have tantrums 24/7. You know, when a child has a tantrum, it might be 5-10 minutes. An adult can have a tantrum for 5 years because we call it a behavioral problem, and nobody really recognizes it because the pharmaceuticals don't really want to, because then they can actually sell the drugs. But that's like anything else, whether it's a skin condition or, you know, I mean, and talking about skin conditions, you know, all your skin conditions come from the core. And what I'm talking about is the small and the large intestine. The large intestine is the holy grail of the whole immune system in the human body. People don't realize it, but you know what? How about 80% of your immune system is in that sewer system called your large intestine, which is called your waistline, which is in most people that are over the age of 40, you know, that mid-ridge bulge, that thing that's hanging over their belt. Okay, some people that look like they're 3 to 6 months pregnant, and man, they're not even female, they're male. So, you know, that is their immune system. But see, society does not teach you that if you look after the core, you'll be so much more. You'll have everything. So that's why your core is everything. Your good bacteria are everything. People don't realize it, but your good bacteria will talk to your brain 12 times, whereas your brain will only talk once back to the good bacteria, because your good bacteria regulate everything. Okay, and in your core, that's where you release 70% of the serotonin in your body, 50% of the dopamine, which are the chemicals that make you feel good, and the chemicals that help to heal you. And when you're feeling good, guess what? Everything about you is good. Your skin will glow. When you don't feel good, and when these bacteria become bad bacteria, they send bad messages, and those bad messages give bad emotions, and those emotions release negative chemicals. Those negative chemicals being like adrenaline or adrenaline they release adrenaline or they release cortisol. And what happens is adrenaline and cortisol are very acidic, and that's where it starts to tear the tissues apart from the inside out. And the more acidic you become, the more your pH lowers. The more your pH lowers, the more your oxygen lowers. The more your oxygen lowers, the more your nutrition lowers. But the problem here is that the more acidic we become, the more we burden the detoxification organs in the body. The skin has to pick up the brunt. Your skin is the largest organ in the human body. And if your large intestine is not dumping the waste, your lymph is not moving properly, and your kidneys are not cleaning properly, and you've backed up all these toxins in your liver, and you've backed up toxic emotions in your liver, your skin has to pick up for it. So that's where when you start getting skin problems, you know that all the other detoxification organs are in trouble. You also know that you probably had a few rounds or even just one round of antibiotics. Because antibiotics Okay, so let's take a look at it. So in life, you know, when you eat food, the more fresher food is, if it's organic, if it's grown from a very good high quality soil, we know that the food has a high vibration. That vibration brings up your energy levels, and that high vibration brings up your mood levels. Now, when we take a look at things like essential oils, they have the highest vibration of all. Now, when you take a look at antibiotics, antibiotics don't even vibrate at zero. They vibrate below the zero level. Now, what I'm talking about is this. In your body, you have what's called good bacteria, and you have yeast. The yeast we need, it's part of our bodies. It's everywhere. Now, what happens when you get antibiotics, which are given to everybody, because that's one of the biggest conspiracies going. You should never do antibiotics unless you're in a life-threatening situation, because they cause a life-threatening situation. So when you take an antibiotic, the vibration of an antibiotic is below zero. So what it does is it takes the yeast and turns the yeast into what we call Candida fungus. Now the yeast that was in your gut now turns into a fungus, and they turn into like these little drills. I'm talking about, really, they turn into drills. And what they do is they start drilling holes through your small intestine and your large intestine, right through into your vascular system, your bloodstream. So now that small intestine and large intestine that used to be only one layer thick of cells, it could actually keep back the toxins and only allow the nutrients in. But now, because of these predators that you've turned on from the antibiotics and from things like gluten, and from certain grains, from casein, from dairy. I mean, nobody ever should be taking dairy into their mouth. It is a direct pus poison. So now you've got these other inflammatory foods coming in along with the fungus, and the fungus is drilling holes through your small and large intestine, and that's what we call leaky gut. That's what we call autoimmune disease. Now, there is the main cause of all skin conditions. End of story. Main cause. So now what we've got is we've got food particles getting through these little pinholes. We've got the fungus getting through these pinholes. We've got protein particles going through this, chemicals going through this, and all going into the bloodstream. So now everything's becoming overburdened. And then that's what people would call systemic candida. So then you'll see people that will have what? Now they start having nasal problems. They start having headaches. They start having sight problems. They start having hearing problems. All of this is coming from this. And they start getting skin rashes. They start getting the hives. They start getting eczema. They get psoriasis. Look, when you talk about the skin and you want to talk about a problem, you know, people that have foot fungus. Well, when you've got foot fungus, the chances of you actually getting cancer are astronomical. And then the chances of a person dying from cancer are astronomical, because people have never been taught how to look after their bodies. And then they look at their toe fungus and they don't realize that it actually came from the small and large intestine that is having holes drilled through it. And then when they get the foot fungus, they'll go back to the doctor. The doctor will give them another antibiotic cream, or it will give them cortisone cream or something like that, that just adds to the problem. It might bring it down for a while, but you know what? You have to understand something. Man's laws are contaminated. Man is contaminated. Unless man embraces universal law, nature's law, then it's ruined. You have to understand, everything that man creates is broken already. Okay? So let's take a look at it. So what we have is we have a whole nation of people that if they're not eating the new improved foods with chemicals or GMO or fast foods, you know, they're unusual. I mean, I eat a diet that is only embraced within nature. And, you know, I'm not saying I always did it. There was a time in my life I smoked. There was a time in life when I drank. There was a time in life when I did everything that everybody does. But the thing is that if you follow the herd, you're going to end up at the butchers. Okay? Skin conditions are only going to get worse because the skin is the last defense mechanism. And what it is when you start having a skin condition, your body's actually saying, you know what you've done? You've poisoned yourself right to the eyeballs. All your detoxification organs are clogged up, and your skin has to take the brunt of this right now. And the first thing we want to do when somebody has a skin condition is get the cork out of the wine bottle. Otherwise, what I'm trying to say is we've got to get their bowels moving. If the bowels are the greatest support system for the skin. End of story. You can see people's conditions change right away. As soon as you can bring balance back, as soon as you can bring the terrain back and bring back lots of that good bacteria, okay? You have to understand something. Isn't it the craziest thing how when you've got a skin condition and go to a doctor, in more cases than not, they give you antibiotics, which is the prime cause of your skin condition. Yes, I understand antibiotics can bring down some of the skin problem, but the problem is when it does it, it also brings down the good bacteria and changes them over, creates more fungus, which created it in the first place. So it's just a very temporary issue. I mean, it's not going to be very long before it all changes. Where do you think adult acne is coming from? Adult acne is coming from hormonal imbalance. And as soon as you are off balance within your large intestine, within your small intestine, then you're going to be out of balance everywhere. And then we're going to put people on hormones, of course, because we want to balance their hormones. Meanwhile, you're looking at the wrong end, okay? Because the body will balance itself when you have a balanced lifestyle.
That is amazing advice and very good for everyone to know. So yes, what are you most proud of from 2017?
From 2017, well, there's so much to be proud of. Personally speaking, I'm proud of being able to break away from basically all the systems. And I'm talking about man-made systems. People might think, well, that's a crazy thing to be proud of. Well, just think of all the things that you're addicted to. Think about all the things that people are addicted to out there. I mean, how many people will get sick and they won't think twice, but they'll go straight to the doctor. And you're never going to get good news when you go there, and you're only going to leave with drugs, and drugs are toxic. So the more that I can wake up to my unlimited potential to heal myself and to help other people heal through nature. But one of the biggest things that I'm proud of in 2017 is my Braveheart online emotional course. I created an online emotional course. I've done over 22,000 hours of emotional consultations for people from cancer to divorce to drug addiction to separation to somebody passing on in the family, or just somebody who doesn't realize that their diet is so toxic that their hormones are off so much that they're not in control of themselves at all. See, the biggest thing that I realized is that we do not think about what we think about. We are continually being downloaded programs, and you have to understand, and a lot of people don't want to hear this, and I'm not a conspiracist, but you have to understand that there's a psycho-elite group called corporations and bankers that are controlling and manipulating the whole population into eating the most toxic food and having the most toxic habits. Think about people when they want to reward themselves. What do? They reward themselves with alcohol or a toke or go out and they'll eat food that's really bad for them. So our whole reward system is really off, but that's only because we've been marketed to through the media so much. And if you watch TV, then you're just totally brainwashed because you're continually being bombarded. And then take a look at the people who have skin conditions and then they go to a pharmacist, or if they don't go natural and the product has chemicals in it, then it might make the skin look good for a little while, but it's not going to stay there. And the one thing that I learned, and I will tell you honestly, if you want beautiful skin, then you drink enough water. You drink structured water, and you want to drink enough. And a woman should drink at least 3 liters of water a day, or 1.5 liters by noon and 1.5 liters by 4 o'clock. And a man would be 2 liters or 2 quarts a day by noon and then another 2 quarts by 4 o'clock. Now, you might say that's a lot of water, but that's only for people who don't know that they need water. You're not going to burn your kidneys out. Your kidneys are meant to put water through them. And all that extra water exchanges the water with inside of you. Most people don't drink enough water to even keep a child alive. And then they wonder why they're burning up inside. Well, if you've got a fire going on, you've got pimples on your body, eczema, psoriasis, or hives, or any other kind of condition, that's because there's inflammation, and that inflammation needs water, because the water helps to put the fire out and helps to get the toxins to come out of the body to create the balance. That's the first thing. Next thing is organic, fresh, and raw foods. But if you can't buy organic, don't worry about it. Just buy vegetables and fruit, and buy grains, good grains, and legumes. Because the thing is that the fiber in legumes, the fiber in the grains, the fiber in the fruit, the fiber in the vegetables is like a scrub brush. And by the time it gets, that's cleaning things out. But by the time it gets down to your large intestine, it is fermented. Why do we compost? We compost because we put this rotten vegetable product, fruits or whatever foods that will break down. We put it in a compost. We put it in our garden so that we can get trillions and billions of these great bugs in our garden that give us these beautiful fruit and vegetables. So that's why we want to eat from the vegetable kingdom. That's why we want to get our food directly from nature, because when they tell you that you should buy fermented vegetables every day and eat them, that's true to a point. But if you've got a bad candida problem or a bad skin condition, then you should not be eating fermented vegetables. No, no, no. You should have steamed vegetables to start off with, and then take those in, because the fermented vegetables, if you're already fermenting, over fermenting, putrefying, they will even make it worse. So you got to know what to do and when to do it. And then, you know what? How many people out there have skin conditions like eczema and psoriasis, and they're actually showering in a gas chamber? What do I mean by this? Well, when you take a shower and you take a shower with chlorinated water and also with fluoride in it, you have to understand something, that water, when you take a 10-minute shower, you take in as much chlorine and fluoride in through your skin as if you drank 20 glasses of water. So people don't even think about that, because your skin is the largest organ. And you want to talk about carcinogenic. You want to talk about eczema, psoriasis, starting the whole thing or getting the whole thing to go on fire. So there are so many basic things that people don't do. And then if you want beautiful skin, get yourself a natural bristle skin brush. A natural bristle skin brush. Dr. Jensen makes the best one. And lightly, dry, skin brush your body every day. Get those dead skin cells off. I'm 62 years old and you can't see any wrinkles on me, okay? So I skin brush at least 3 times a week. And when I have a shower, I make sure it's a structured shower. We have what's called structure units that they never break down. They don't take electricity, and they're guaranteed for life. And they're the cheapest thing in the world, but you never have to replace them. And they help to change any chemical, viral, bacterial, fungal into a non-toxic situation. So what I tell my people to do if you want beautiful skin is you get Epsom salts. You take Epsom salts and you wet the Epsom salts down with structured water. And then we put in there what we call Muscle Restore or Lemon Lift essential oil. We make pure essential oils. And what we do is we have them put lots of that in there into this wet sand-like consistency of Epsom salts. Then what they do is they take coconut oil, 1/10, and they mix that in with the Epsom salts. Now, when you're dry, get a little stool, put it in your shower, lightly skin brush your body, then go in, sit down on the stool, grab the Epsom salt Lemon Lift or Muscle Restore with, the Epsom salts that's wet, the consistency of sand, that has coconut oil and essential oils, and then scrub your whole body. Oh my gosh. Then have a shower in a structured shower unit. And then when you come out, you're going to have the most beautiful skin. You're not going to feel dry. You're going to be moisturized. You're going to see most of your wrinkles have left, and you're just going to feel so healthy from this, okay? Because we need to look after our skin. It is what wraps the body up. It's what breathes. Your skin breathes. But, most people that are around the age of 30, 35, their skin doesn't breathe anymore. because they've never skin brushed. If you go and you sit in front of a window with the sun coming in and you skin brush, you'll think it's snowing in your house. All that dust in your house that you see, that's from skin. But if you actually take it off and just keep renewing yourself, keep renewing your skin, keep it fresh, and then moisturize it, you'll find that that will really help.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's really good advice. And so for those structured water units, how would you attach that to your house?
Well, the structured water units take about a plumber or just somebody who knows what they're doing. How about 15 minutes? Because all they're doing is cutting out 10 inches of pipe, and then they put this unit on, and that's it. And you never have to do anything, never needs any maintenance for the rest of your life. Because did you notice something? That even though they say that rain has heavy metals in it, toxins in it, why is it that our crops haven't changed in the last 200 years? That they're just as healthy, even with the rain that's supposed to be toxic, because the rain becomes structured. That is what the atmosphere does. It's a built-in mechanism, and that's what a structured unit does. Is it actually will convert everything, because everything is about frequency. People need to understand that everything is about frequency, meaning this, that you want to drink water that's high in frequency, which is structured water. You want to eat foods that are high in frequency, which is your fresh and raw from the plant world, right? And you want to make sure that you get lots of sunlight, because that's going to bring in, because we are light beings. As soon as you understand that we're light beings, and why I'm saying this is because we're walking, talking batteries. And we need high vibrational food, water. We need high vibrational people in our life. Think about it. When you have people that are around you, they could give you a rash. People could give you eczema and psoriasis if they're always bringing you down, or if they're creating conflict and anxiety in you, because everything that is not good for you creates acid in the body, and it lowers your frequency. And what that means, it's lowering your energy level. And when you lower your energy level, you allow parasites, you allow fungus, you allow virus and bad bacteria to reign in your body. And that's what kills us. That's what destroys our organs. That's what destroys our skin. Okay. And I have to tell you this, and you need to know this, but the medical world out there, and the pharmaceutical world, and the food corporations really don't care how well you're doing. And the worse you're doing, the better it is for them. You have to understand something. Isn't it funny how processed food and new and improved foods are so cheap? Do you know why they're so cheap? Because the same companies that make them also are the same companies that own the pharmaceutical companies. So they're going to get you on the back end for that last 50 years of you being in pain, having inflammation, having disease, having skin problems, and they're going to just sell you pharmaceutical drugs that are actually only made for pennies, and sometimes they could be hundreds of dollars. So you have to understand something. It's called, we're going to invest in you today by giving you these toxic, cheap foods so that you can poison yourself. And as soon as you start to have pain, inflammation, and different types of diseases and conditions, that's when we're going to make all our money back 1,000-fold.
Yeah, that's very scary.
Well, you know what? Let's take a look at it, just so that everybody realizes that I am very logical and down to earth. Is this, 100 years ago, if somebody had cancer, they would call doctors in from all around because they never thought they'd see it again. If they saw somebody with diabetes or heart disease, they'd think the same thing. So now we know that 1 out of 2 people will, in every family, will have cancer. We know that 1 out of 3 people in every family have heart disease. We know that 1 out of 3 people in every family have diabetes, okay? So we also know that at the rate we're going, and if we allow the medical system to keep going the way it's going, we also know that 1 out of every 2 children will be autistic by the year 2030. We also know, and everybody needs to look this up, it's not hard to find it, but the medical system is the 3rd leading cause of death in North America. So let me tell you something. When you've got the psycho elite behind you, which is the corporateers and the bankers, and you have to understand that only 1% of the population makes 96% or holds 96% of the financial wealth in the world. So when you've got that, you know that they consider themselves to be these demigods. So they orchestrate this. and they just make money off of us. So you have to understand, I know that you asked me to come on and talk about skin conditions, but here's your skin conditions. What is getting under your skin? Corruption. Corruption is under everybody's skin, and it's contaminating their whole lives. And until we wake up to that fact, and that's why I spent, I spent almost $100,000 and thousands and thousands and thousands of hours building what I call ITIOH, International Training Institute of Health. We teach people how to become whole life coaches for their families, or we have practitioners come that have 30 years training and they come to us. And we teach a technique called Wolfe Deep Tissue, where we guarantee a person will not go to surgery even if they have a hip problem, or they have a neck problem, or they have carpal tunnel syndrome, or they have a back problem, or even scoliosis. It doesn't matter, because everything is about, in the body, everything is about scar tissue. So even when you're talking about skin condition, that is the skin breaking down, okay? When you're talking about anything from a knee problem to a hip problem to an ankle problem to a muscle pain that keeps coming back, oh, I've got a knot in here. That's all created from inflammation, because we don't know how to eat properly, and we have never mastered our mind with our emotions. And whether you want to believe this or not, 70% of all the beliefs that a person has stored in their subconscious are dysfunctional. Now, people are going to go, he can't say that. Well, yes, I can. You can take a look. There's studies from universities, hospitals, private studies, clinics. It's all around the world. Anybody who does their homework will find out that 70% of your beliefs are killing you. Only 30% of your beliefs are either neutral, or because what we've created on this planet right now, there are only two types of emotion. There's no neutral. Tissue. You can get a person that has a cane, a walker, or even in a wheelchair, and you can get them out of a wheelchair if you knew the proper diet, and if you knew how to break up the beef jerky scar tissue that is now creating invisible bonds within their body. So I created that, and I created what's called Braveheart Emotional Course, which is online. And I'm telling you, when I tell you this, it's 25 years of my work. And it's probably one of the most inexpensive courses in emotional training in the world, and an 8-year-old can understand it, and an 80-year-old can afford it, and a doctor cannot refute it. So what we did was we created this emotional training course for 33 days to teach people about their bodies, their minds, how to use their heart. It's called a heart-brain connection, to come up through your heart into your brain to help to erase and replace, get rid of the old toxic beliefs that are killing you. Come on, you know as well as I do, the people in your family, you have the same squabble with them over and over and over again. And this goes on for generations. How would you like to stop it? How would you like to be able to say no when you need to say no, say yes when you need to say yes? And how would you like to feel good about saying, I totally honor, trust, love, respect, protect, and forgive myself first and foremost before anyone else on this planet or anything else on this planet, because I can. And that's what we want people to be there. We want you to, listen, we are taught to not love ourselves. So take a look at anybody with skin conditions or diseases. I mean, this is a person not loving themselves. If I were to teach you to totally love yourself, then you would totally love your family. You would totally love the world. I'm not saying you would like everyone. I'm not saying you'd like everybody's beliefs. I don't like everybody's beliefs, but I don't hate anybody anymore. Did you ever notice that every time that you get angry at someone because they're not the way you want them to be, you take the poison pill and you make yourself sick? There's enough to give you eczema and psoriasis or hives right there.
What are you most excited about for 2018?
What am I excited about?
Yes.
Well, I'm very excited because my Braveheart is going to be picked up by somebody that is very influential in the world, and they're going to be promoting it because they see the value in it. I'm also coming out with a new book, and the new book is called The Family Curse, and it talks about how we can get out of the family curse and how we can finally live the life that we were promised. And also, my school is opening up in satellite schools in Tampa, London, England, Michigan, and a few other places throughout the world where we do our training courses all around the world. So that's really it. The big thing about me is that, and also that I'm opening up what's called Braveheart Radio, where we're actually going to be doing live emotional consultations for people from cancer to divorce to depression, where people will be sending in like a file about themselves, and then we'll be randomly picking people every week. And then we will do live consultations and put it up on the website so that other people with these similar problems can get help for free.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
Yes, you said that someone influential is trying the Braveheart course. Do you know who that person is? Or can you share who that person is?
I can't right now, but I will tell you that this person is connected to 85,000 practitioners. So the thing is it's really big, and it's going to happen next year. And until it does, I don't really want to say it. But see, the Braveheart course that I'm doing, people will be able to come online on their own time. And I've spelled everything out, and I've showed who's behind the scenes, what's going on. And it's called the 33-Day Awakening. And here's how truly life works. So you have to understand something, that if you're doing something that you don't like you're doing, or your life keeps on coming into your face and you keep having physical and emotional pain, it's because you have belief systems you're unaware of. See, your subconscious brain is 90% of your brain. See, people don't realize that. Now, the subconscious part of the brain is a big storage shed, and it stores beliefs. And whether you want to believe this or not, we learn all our beliefs when we're children, when we're babies, and through our childhood age. And everything that you learn and you take in, you don't have any filters. So if your father's an alcoholic, if your mother's a bit psychotic, whoever's around you, and if they repeat certain things enough, those become your prominent beliefs. That's why we get messed up. I mean, if we were really wanting to be honest and living on a beautiful world and love is the answer and all that stuff, then we would actually be teaching people that they need to master their mind as soon as they're 12 years old, 8 years old, start around 8 or even earlier. If you can get to the parents, and if you can get the parents to start loving themselves, because that's really the problem is that we truly don't love ourselves. We look outside ourselves to have other people fill up our heart with love. Think about it. Your boyfriend, when he's not there, he doesn't give you the love you want. Then you feel lonely, you feel hurt. Look at, how would you like to be in a position that you could love honestly? What do I mean by that? You fill up your own heart with love. You don't expect your mother, your father, your boyfriend, and the world to fill up your heart with love. You love yourself totally. And then you shine that light on everyone else. And then you're not going to give people corrupted love. Well, you didn't love me today, so I'm not going to love you back. And then we play love ransom on each other. So the thing is that what we need to do is we need to get to parents that are open, or couples before they even have children, and teach them this. And do you want to know who's corrupted? All couples are corrupted. Unless anybody has really, really done at least 9 months to a year of totally being dedicated to mastering their mind and learning that you have 100 billion neurons in your brain. And those neurons, they come together every time you have a new thought, and their little fingers reach out and they grab onto each other. And you need to do this. If you're doing something you don't like, or you have a habit you don't like, or you're hanging around with people you shouldn't hang around with, or things you shouldn't say or do, and you know it, but you will look to blame everybody else in the outside world because you don't know how to go inside. But once you know how to do that, you can go in and you can take those neurons and bring them apart, the habits you no longer want, and they will fade away. If you know how to do the heart-brain connection with repetition. And I have what's called the 13 loving steps, and it's fun. These are fun loving. This helps to bring the child out inside of you. And you do that every day for the rest of your life, and you awaken that real true person. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. Only 1 out of 10,000 people are the real authentic selves, because you've got to get rid of all the borrowed beliefs, all the unknown downloaded beliefs that you've got. Look at, if you're fighting with life every day and you keep on having the same problems, headaches, skin conditions, you've got heart disease, you've got cancer. Listen, most people with cancer, they die from the cancer because they've never mastered their mind. You need to understand something. We are light beings, energy beings. If we can teach a person to totally love themselves, they can dissolve a tumor. They can dissolve a skin condition. Because once you start loving yourself, then you will vibrate to things that are high energy. There's nothing that can exist in you. Disease is dis-ease. So you're not at ease with yourself. And when you're not at ease with yourself, you'll gravitate to eating the wrong things, buying the wrong makeup, buying the wrong cleaners for your house. You'll leave the Wi-Fi on all night long, even though it's frying your blood. You know, as soon as you start to really go, I love myself so much. I love myself first and foremost, and I will honor, respect, protect myself. And I will do that against myself, because at the beginning, you're actually, who you're really protecting yourself from is yourself, is your dysfunctional beliefs.
Okay, yeah, that is amazing advice as well. So, yeah, tell us more about the other therapies and courses you offer.
Well, we have a really beautiful place in Kelowna, and we have a large retreat, and people come here, and it's called personal treatment and training. We have what's called couples retreat, where couples will come here and they'll learn how to do the deep tissue to work on each other. Listen, we just had a couple, we've had lots of them, but we had one she was 81 and he was 78. Now they came here for 2 weeks. They learned how to do the deep tissue to work on each other, and they'll do that for maybe 15 minutes every other day now when they go home. Now, whether you want to believe this or not, in 9 months, they will have no stiffness. They will not move around like they're 80 years old. They will move around like they're in their 30s. How's that? Because it doesn't matter where in the body you're talking about. What happens is, this is what happens in our body. When we don't eat right, we don't think right, we don't live right, we create inflammation. That inflammation then causes what we call scar tissue formation. Your body makes fibrin. And your body makes fibrin to send fibrin there to block off and wall off the inflammation so it doesn't spread. So if there's inflammation there continually, we get a ball or a knot, like we call it, of scar tissue. That's why, oh, I can't brush my hair anymore because carpal tunnel syndrome. I mean, not carpal tunnel syndrome, but you have inflammation in your shoulder. Then you get people with carpal tunnel syndrome from using the computer, and they'll go and get surgery. And meanwhile, in 10 minutes, I can go in there and break that up. And then using essential oil, DMSO, it's not going to come back. So we get people that are booked for hip surgeries, and they don't go. We go people with scoliosis or spinal problems, they don't go. So I'm not telling you 100%, but 99% of the time we can stop it. Now remember, if you're going to go to a medical doctor, he's going to give you drugs or he's going to give you surgery. He's not going to say, well, I'm going to teach you how to get rid of the scar tissue, and then anywhere in your body, you're going to feel young again. So what we do is we teach couples, we teach families. Just 3 weeks ago, we had 6 people from a family come together. It was a couple. They brought their parents, and they brought their 2 children. And they all learned how to do the deep tissue on themselves. They all went through our personal treatment and training and learned all about the nutrition, how to create the perfect day from the minute they wake up till they go to bed. And that's individually to suit their lifestyle. So that means we help them to make decisions from the minute they wake up until they go to bed, and to get rid of all of the belief systems that were actually causing them problems. So we do that for people. And then 4 weeks ago, we had a person that came to us with huge fibroids, and she came with her caretaker, and we taught her how to take the fibroids apart and put her on the proper diet. So instead of her going and getting surgery for these fibroids in her pelvis, now they're taking the fibroids apart and they're dissolving them, which you can dissolve any fibroid. And you need to understand something, that even with a cancer tumor, only maybe 1% of a tumor has actual cancer cells in it. The rest is just fibroid, and it's all compacted and tight because the tumor is being used to store these toxic emotions and the toxic chemicals in your body. So once we can start getting rid of the toxic emotions by getting rid of the toxic beliefs and cleaning up your diet, then why do we need a storage tank like that? So we have the personal treatment and training. We also have the whole life coach, which is 6 days. I'm actually in 2 weeks. We have a training here in Kelowna, British Columbia, where we do 6 weeks a whole life coach. And what we do is we teach people how to create the perfect day, but we show practitioners. Like in this course, we've got 2 chiropractors coming. We've got 2 massage therapists, and I think a physiotherapist. And then we've got a woman that always wanted to learn how to be a practitioner. And then we've got a couple of younger people that came out of pre-med that want to take our course. So then we get a whole different array. Like the last course, we had a steel worker there. We had a lumber worker that wanted to get out of the business and learn how to do the deep tissue and to do the counseling, because anybody can do health. That's where we've been sucker punched. We're all geniuses. We're all intelligent. We all have unlimited potential. So that'll be our first course. The second course is 7 days of the Wolfe Deep Tissue, where we teach you to go anywhere in the body and get rid of stiffness, pain. How about this? I have somebody returning. They're coming back from England. They're 2 therapists. They were here for our last course. They're coming to our second one. They're going to come to our third because they want to be trainers for us. But how about this? He's 70 years old, and he has been wearing for 11 years, he's been wearing earpieces because he can't hear, hearing aids. How about me working on him for a half an hour on this ear and this ear, and the hearing aids come out right away? How about people come to us that have hearing problems? And I will tell you right now, you can believe it or not believe it, but I will tell you probably about, I don't know, without exaggerating, 29 out of 30, when they come here, right after the first treatment, we get their hearing back. Because you have to understand, it's all about inflammation and scar tissue. I had a woman I just worked on, and she's been deaf in her left ear for over 2 years. 2 years. And she also had, she was out of balance. So she had tinnitus really bad, okay? And she could not get her balance. I went in there and worked on her one ear for 35, 40 minutes. And guess what? Her hearing came back by the time I was done. That night, when she went home, her balance was so bad. She said it was the worst it's ever been in her life. She couldn't even walk to the bathroom. Her husband had to help her. The next morning, guess what? She hasn't had it since. So that's the deep tissue. Then we have, for people who do the 7-day deep tissue, we have an advanced course called Non-Surgical Aesthetics, where we teach people how to come in and do the face. You know, the deep lines that people have in the face, those deep wrinkles, well, those deep wrinkles are right down into the muscle bed. And you know, when people have TMJ and they have to get mouth guards that are like $10,000 made from dentists, they don't need those anymore. We go in and get rid of the scar tissue in their jaw. We go in here and we release the vagus nerve, which helps you get into the parasympathetic. We can go in with somebody who needs sinus surgery, get rid of the sinus problem because of the scar tissue. Remember, we already talked about the hearing, and you can improve the eyesight by working in this whole area and in the back of the occiput, people with migraine headaches. So anyways, but the big thing is why people want to come and learn this. We have people coming from all over the world, because how would you like to do one treatment on somebody and take 5 to 10 years off the way they look, and it does not come back. It wouldn't come back for years, because we use a gentle technique using the elbow and some other techniques to go down into the deepest muscles, into the origin insertion of the face, and we get rid of that beef jerky scar tissue. So that allows the collagen to come, back, the elastin to come back, the blood flow, the lymph, and we restore the look of the person. So now we teach that, then we teach how to go in and do the breasts. Because breasts, 1 out of every 8 women are going to have breast cancer. What if I could teach you a technique, and I could teach you this technique, and you were able to go in and work on your own breasts and the breasts of the people in your family, or you could do it as a business, and you can get rid of all the scar tissue and crystallization and calcium deposits in a woman's breast. Well, how would they ever get breast cancer? Couldn't. And especially because we're going to teach you the diet, and we're going to teach you how to maintain proper health. And we also teach that all bras, okay, all bras cause scar tissue. Underneath the arm, come down right here, there's a pad of scar tissue. That scar tissue from the bra blocks off the lymph nodes under the arms. And if you find that you have fattiness under your lymph nodes, under your arms, it's not fat, it's because you're so toxic. And that is the beginning stages of big time breast problems coming, okay? So now, the other thing we do is we go in and open up the sternum, clavicle area, and then we go right into the breasts, and we break up and we show how to drain the breasts and bring back proper blood and lymph flow and get everything working proper again. Then what we do is, in the non-surgical aesthetics, we do the face, we do the breasts, and we do what we call the abdomen, which is the core. That is your immune system. How about this? What if I showed you a technique that you could lift up the transverse colon by 3 inches? You know, the thing that's hanging down and out over a person's belt? Well, we can actually lift that up. What if I could go in and get rid of the scar tissue from appendix operation, a cesarean, or a liver operation that was giving you pain, and we go in and get rid of that scar tissue? What if I could go in and get rid of the scar tissue that caused the colitis or the diverticulitis or the Crohn's disease? What if I could go in and get rid of that and restore that tissue? So, and then what we do is we go then down to the pubic bone and below it, because guess what? There's not a woman or a man alive of the age of 30 and above that doesn't have massive inflammation and scar tissue in their pelvis. And why? Because guess what? Because we eat like garbage cans. We think that drinking alcohol is normal. We think that having snack foods, healthy snack foods in the house is normal, but we do it too often. We think that eating animals is normal. We think that eating dairy, which is complete pus, it should never even be in anybody's mouth. Why do we do that? Why don't we milk pigs? Why don't we milk a monkey? We milk a cow because they have the biggest udders, and it's so that they can make more money. And we're the only species to drink milk after we're weaned. Who invented this? So, and it doesn't matter even if you do not feel inflammation from drinking milk, okay? Guess what? Or eating cheese or eating yogurt, it's still inflaming your body. There isn't a yogurt I would put in my mouth if it's made from dairy. You could give me a whole franchise yogurt business, and I'm telling you that it's killing us, okay? It's causing cancer, it's causing autoimmune disease, and it just goes on from there. So you can see why everything's exploding in my business, because I'm giving the power back to the people. It's 50% professional therapists and even people who are leaving the medical system and nurses that take our courses. And the other 50% is Jane, where her kids just grew up, and she says, I've always wanted to be a practitioner. I'm 50 years old, and guess what? I can't afford to go back to school, and I don't want to go back to school for 10 years. And I go, Jane, you don't have to. You can come to us for 3 weeks, and I promise you that you'll be the smartest practitioner on the block. Because I'm going to tell you something. Listen to me. We were created by God, and guess what? We need to act like it. We are self-healing machines. We are geniuses with unlimited potential that have been dumbed down by the psycho elite and by the systems out there that say, we're the smart ones. We'll tell you what to do. We'll tell you where to go. Well, I'm telling everybody right now that you have the power, but you've got to stop giving it away.
Okay, yeah, no, that's amazing. I'm also a little surprised to learn, because like the only type of dairy I actually considered having, for myself was Greek yogurt, and to find out that's still bad for you is still kind of like, oh.
No, you guess what? You just got sucker punched. Isn't it amazing how advertising can just take you down that road? For one thing, let's talk about your Greek yogurt. Is it pasteurized?
Honestly, I haven't eaten it in a long time, so I have to look it
But
up.
but oh, it's pasteurized. It has to be. So it's totally acidic. Oh, and the good bacteria in it. Oh, well, that came from cow's bacteria, which you can't formulate properly. Oh, and then the other thing is the bacteria is dead because if you pasteurize it, it's going to kill it. And then also dairy. You have to understand how many stomachs does a cow have?
I don't
Four.
know.
Four. We have one. We're not meant to take in dairy. We can't break it down. The casein is actually causing most of the autoimmune disease that's causing most of the deadly diseases in North America. We're all getting sucker punched. You know what? Let me put it to you this way. So my family, okay, has been the richest family for 300 years. So that means that I'm probably fourth or fifth generation, right? So by the time you get to the fourth, fifth generation, and your family's been one of the richest ones on the planet, would you kind of get an ego problem thinking maybe that you are one of the gods to control the world and that the rest of the population are just ants and they're just there for your play toy? Let me tell you something. And you know what? And I know that you're talking about the skin, but I'm going to tell you something. We better love the skin we're in, but we can't do that until we love ourselves. Here's the deal. 99% of all the wars that will ever take place on this planet have been created for profit, okay? They've been created for profit because the biggest thing that corporations and banks need is they need people in debt. And how do you do that? You start wars and then you create debt. And then you sell this to the people that were being terrorized by these different countries. And if we don't go after them and we don't destroy these countries, they're going to come and destroy us.
Wow, yeah, no, that's amazing advice that you're giving. So, and I do agree with a lot of what you're saying.
Well,
So,
you know what? Most people won't agree with it, but that's only because of their belief systems. And that won't bother me because you know what? If you would have talked to me 25 years ago, I wouldn't believe anything I just said.
oh, I totally understand about that too.
Yes.
Yes.
So
So,
I know that we're talking about the skin here, but this has all got to do with the skin. You know, it's like this. What got under your skin? Did you ever hear of that before? Did anybody ever say that to you? So what's under your skin? What's gotten under your skin? Well, I'll tell you what's gotten under our skin. We are not the masters of our life.
oh, yeah, no, I totally agree with that part.
Yes.
So also I was going to mention, because you mentioned before about our diet. So, you were saying how, we have to eat more nature intended type of diet. So would you say that we should, we as humans are actually more built for things like vegetarianism or veganism or things like that?
I'll tell you right now that we're meant to be vegetarians, but the world is not set up, at least this part of the world, like North America, is not set up properly for that because people are being orchestrated to and downloaded that we're supposed to eat animal products. Okay. You have to understand something that, 300 animals are slaughtered every second in North America. And you have to understand another thing that I don't know how to say this, but all this murder is not good. And the thing is that if you take a look at the composition of our digestive tract, our digestive juices, our jaw, our teeth, you would see that we're meant to be vegetarian. Am I telling people to be vegetarian? No, I'm not telling them that. Am I telling them to just observe and take a look at what's causing their problem and to do more research? Yes. Okay. So, it took me years and years and years to start weaning away from animal products, even when I was a practitioner. So this is not about making people feel bad or having any type of guilt. But I will tell you that the animals that you're eating, you know what? Don't look at the package because they weren't treated with love and they weren't treated with organic food. They were treated with toxic, chemicalized foods. And they were factory farmed in the most disgusting, you have no idea. Just go do your homework and I guarantee you won't want to. You just want to shut it off because it'll be too much for you to see. Go take a look at it. Do you know that not even 1% of the animal products that we eat are pure. So try to wrap your head around that one. And the other thing is ask yourself why certain things are so cheap. That's all.
Okay, yeah, but usually produce is cheaper than meat.
Let's put it this way: for all the money that they spend to grow meat, it's cheap. The water they use, the food, the labor, and the other thing is that we were not supposed to have recycled protein. We were supposed to have amino acids, okay? You can get all your protein from nuts, seeds, legumes, grains, lentils, beans, vegetables, and fruit. And I'm not telling people to change. I'm saying just go tippy-toe and start introducing these products gradually, because guess what? People don't change overnight. And anything that you change overnight, it's just going to flip right back anyways, because the only way that you can bring on a new habit into the human body is through repetition. So take a look. Let me ask you a question. How do I become an Olympian? How do I become a master pianist? I practice every day, day in and day out. How many people do you know practice health every day, day in, day out? How many people do you know practice loving themselves, protecting themselves, and respecting themselves day in and day out? You don't hardly know anyone. 1 out of 10,000 people on this planet, or especially in North America, only 1 out of 10,000 people do that. The rest of them are just precariously going through unconsciously, not thinking about what they think about. I could say anything on the news enough, and I guarantee I'll have 99% of the population doing it, even if it's killing them.
Wow, that's very scary to think about.
Well, you know what? Am I here to actually make a difference? Or am I here to just be a hobby health person? You know what? I want to tell you something. Both of my parents died before they were 55 from cancer. My mother from lung cancer. My father from leukemia. Now, both of them came to me because I was already a practitioner, and we turned them around. And they went back to their old habits and still died from that problem. Because guess what? We can get rid of the disease, but did we get rid of the belief that caused it? Now, if I'm going to be a true, honest to goodness person, am I just going to tell you that you should go and buy my curcumin cayenne 5000, that you should go on my daily cleansing tea every day so you cleanse your colon, and not talk about the belief systems and not talk about the corrupt world we live in? Let me tell you something. I love everybody. I love this planet. When it comes to universal law, nature's law, love's law, life's law, I am so proud to be here. I love being here. I love living here. But when it comes to man's law and society systems, that is the poison that's killing everyone.
Wow, that's very good to know. Yeah, so tell us, what are the signs and symptoms for, the average human being that you would say, they should go and see a functional medicine?
Hello?
Oh, did you not hear me?
Yeah. Well, I will tell you what the signs are. Conflict, anxiety, okay, lack of energy, stress, indigestion, bloating, headaches, diarrhea, constipation, bladder infections, hormonal imbalance. Those are just a few of them. Not being able to focus properly, eye problems, skin conditions. Those are some of the main ones. Joint pain, muscle pain, reoccurring pain. Okay. Also, not feeling like you've lost the zest for life, because we can get it back for you, because it's just a thought. If I can bring up the vibration of your body and I can help you erase and replace your beliefs, you can have it all back.
Wow, yeah, that's amazing. So, so you would say people with those types of symptoms are the types of people that should go and see a functional medicine doctor?
I'll tell you something right now. Everybody should come and see a functional medicine doctor, because guess what? And I'm not a doctor though. I have a doctorate, but everybody should come and see a functional medicine practitioner, because if you've never seen one, then you don't know how to look after your body. And if you don't know how, okay, first of all, let's play a game here. In your family, does anybody have cancer, heart disease? What's in your family?
So you're talking my family personally?
Your family.
So my own family, there's actually no cancer, but there has been heart attacks more towards like the 60s, 70s, 80s for some of them. One of my grandmothers had a stroke.
Okay, so then you know that the stroke is caused from a clot, right?
Oh yes, so I did get to see, a little bit of the downsides of what happened to my poor
Okay, but what I'm trying to say is this. Take a look at what your family is having, and then you're going to realize what you're going to have if you don't change your belief systems and you don't create the perfect day for yourself. Mm-hmm. So when we take a look at our mother and father that have cancer, when we take a look at the certain diseases in our family, and meanwhile, our parents raised us, meanwhile, we're probably going to have those diseases or similar to them, because we have their habits, we have their beliefs. And you can say to me, I'm nothing like my father. Good luck with that one. Because you know what? You learned most of your belief systems by the time you were 8 years old. Did you get that? From 0 to 8. So you don't even know the belief systems you have stored back here. So the thing is I would tell everyone to come and see us. And I wouldn't tell them to just come and see us. I would tell them to come through one of our trainings. And then remember something. In life, if you don't have a coach, okay, to teach you how to master your body, then you're just going to flip-flop through life and you're going to be up and down all the time. Honestly. Okay, so you're doing this health conference lecture with many people. You've got your eyes open. You know as well as I do that the majority of the population has a disease, right? You do know that. You know that the majority of the population is suffering physically and emotionally every day, and we consider it to be normal because we're all doing it. You also realize that if you go outside right now and you take a look around, 60 to 70% of the population is not just overweight, but entering into obesity. If you go out right now, you'll see that stores are opening up with large clothing for large people to embrace what's coming, because it's all about making money. So I will tell you this, that, I will not, like I said, love everyone. I disrespect no one. But people who are saying, I love my body, if they're overweight by 20, 30 pounds or more, they're endangering their health. I'm not going to sit back and say that's okay. Right now, what the actual North America corporations are wanting us to do is swallow a new pill that we're all going to be supersized, and we all need to embrace what's coming in the future. I mean, are we like insane? So we're gonna, you do know that scientifically speaking, and if you do your research, they say that my children's children will not outlive their parents.
Oh, that's scary to think about.
Well, people need to do their homework. And you know what? People are going to say, I'm too busy. Well, let me tell you something. Take a look at what you do with your spare time. Take a look what everybody does with their spare time. Most of the time, you'll find out that it's watching TV or it's doing things that aren't really that good for you. So you can always tell the health of a person in what they do with their spare time.
Yeah, that's actually very good advice.
Yes.
Yes, so you also have several videos and Q&As on your website. So what made you want to start those?
Because a picture's worth 1,000 words, and I have a whole video production. It's called DocStar TV. Like last week, we had Tony Jimenez, Dr. Tony Jimenez from the Hope for Cancer Institute, which has depending on the cancer, a 77 to 86% survival rate with stage 3 and 4 cancers. And you do know that the medical system are veering around 2.23. Did you get the difference?
Mm-hmm.
It's beyond. Okay, and then the week before that, I had Del Bigtree, who is the producer of Vaxxed, which is the most controversial documentary ever done. And that's on how vaccinations are lethal. And then this week coming up, I have Healing Strong, which is a nonprofit group. They have 47 locations around the world. And it's a nonprofit to help people, teach them about how to prevent cancer, get rid of cancer, okay? And then, anyways, every week we have somebody on that gives unbelievable, life-changing information. And then just 3 weeks ago, I did a show called The Golden Key to Healing, which is where I spent a whole hour and a half, and I taught people how to go in and change their belief system, how the brain works, and how corporations and systems and even the medical system want to keep you in a sympathetic state, which is in fear, flight, fright state. And I was teaching people how to get back into the parasympathetic state, is where we heal and we have calm and peace in our life. So we have that, and then we have Braveheart Radio that I told you about. And then I've got hundreds of videos up on docstartv.com and YouTube to teach people everything from skin brushing to how to do a coffee enema. People don't realize that if you do a coffee enema, it can save your life. If you drink coffee, it can destroy your life. So even though everybody does coffee and they've embraced it, it destroys your stomach. It creates high acidity in the body. You know, people say that coffee's good for you. They say chocolate's good for you. But everything is blown out of proportion. You should only eat one little piece of dark chocolate and then only suck on it. That's as much as a person should have every day. That is therapeutic. So see, everything today is extreme. It's upsized. We have upsized people. We have upsized diets. We have upsized bags of chips. We have upsized therapy. Here, take this pill. You know, if it doesn't kill you, it'll take your pain away.
Okay, yeah, no, that's very good to know. Yeah, so you've also written a book that was called The Game Changer of Health, titled Healthy to 100. So
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Healthy to 100 is a book that anybody can read. I mean, if people want to get online and read about what people say about it, what even doctors say about it, they will be amazed. This book gives you all the basic foundation of where we're being misguided, and I give you what you need to do to take your life back. And it's everything. It's everything from the mouth to the rectum, and how to look after that, how to look after your skin, how to look after your mind, how to take your power back, and then we go through and how to create that perfect day.
Well, that's really good. That's got to
Yes.
be really great advice for your readers, too, especially.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you also have your own product line that you created and sell on your website. So what made you decide to start your own product line?
Well, because a lot of the products, okay, you know, some people are going to really think that I'm like quite a funny guy, but I'm not funny, but different. The reason being is because everybody lies. You can get away with selling products and they don't have to be authentic, quite authentic. You can say things and you could say all natural and they don't have to be all natural. You can do a lot of things with products, and I decided that that's not going to happen. Okay. The one thing that I did for the first part of my life, because I was in survival mode, is not live with integrity. And I'm going to live with integrity for the rest of my life. And I'm going to say what I need to say, do what I need to do to honor that part of me, because I really believe that we're here to actually grow spiritually. And I don't believe that I can do that unless I'm going to be totally honest with myself. So by creating my own products, I have a better handle on it. But, you know, I've done that a long time ago. I came up with the daily cleansing tea almost 20 years ago. And this is a tea that's not a laxative. It's not addictive. And if people were to take the daily cleansing tea in the morning and at night, and it even tastes good, and they were to do that, you would eliminate 95% of all the illness you would ever have, because it looks after keeping you cleansed from right from your small intestine right through to your large intestine, your liver, your kidneys, your skin, your lungs, okay? And so that's why I came out with that, because I came out with this product because I do not believe in cleansing. Now, even though I'm called the Doc of Detox, I believe in gentle cleansing every day, and doing loving, gentle steps with yourself. The majority of the natural health industry believes in letting your waste pile up for 6 months, right? 9 months, and then doing a 3-week cleanse that gives you headaches, makes you feel nauseous, and then you open up all the detox organs too fast, and you overburden the body. Now, why should we be tortured like that? What if I could give you something like this tea that tastes good, and you just did a little bit in the morning, a little bit at night, and it always maintained you, and it helped all the detox organs work efficiently? So that's the game. Then, you know, I have a whole bunch of products, right from hydrochloric acid. People don't understand that when you reach the age of 25, or even before 25, but after that for sure, if you're eating animal products or protein products, or you're not combining your products properly, or you've overeaten, you need to take, we have what's called Doc of Detox HCl, and that helps to support the stomach so you digest your food. Then we have our digestive enzymes to make sure that we digest the foods, because if your food doesn't digest, it rots in you. If it rots in you, then it's going to putrefy. And rotting is not really a great thing. And you need to understand something. Everybody out there that has a disease, that part of your body is rotting. Did you hear what I said? That part of your body is rotting away. So that means it's low vibrational. So we need to bring your vibration up. And your body's amazing. You don't need anybody to heal you. You need to heal you. You need to learn how to create that perfect day. And then we put a product together called Curcumin Cayenne 5000. That's probably the most powerful product in supporting the human body and the immune system, and against cancer, and preventing cancer, and increasing circulation, balancing out blood pressure. It's just the most amazing product. So I have a lot more of them that we've created, but those are a couple. And the reason why is everything must be integrity. You know, the biggest thing that is missing in today is integrity, okay? Think about this. Man, since he got on this planet, has been at war with himself and everyone else. And we're continually at war with ourselves and everyone else. And until we can find integrity, and we will not find that until we learn to love ourselves.
Yeah, no, that's very good advice. So yes, you have an extensive collection of articles in the media section of your website. So tell us about those.
The articles in our website, they touch on everything. They touch on everything from emotional to physical to nutritional to detox. And they're there for people just to take little bites and just to start dipping their toe in, because I don't expect anyone to trust us until they've, you know, get your toe wet, now get your leg in, now get up to your waist. You know what I mean? Those what the articles are there for. It's to introduce us to them and say, yes, we care, and yes, we're here for you. So those articles are just to really to start giving people little tips and ideas, like how to do a castor oil pack, how to do the skin brushing or the salt close, or how to do vegetable juicing, what vegetable juicing is really good, how to do food combining, you know. So it's just to introduce them into us until they decide they want to read my book or take our courses or come here for a personal treatment and training.
Okay, yeah, no, that sounds amazing. So
Thank
also,
you.
yeah, oh, you're welcome. So yes, tell us also about your free gift.
Our free gift, if they want to collect the free gift from you, the free gift is, we talked about it earlier, the Braveheart online course. Our Braveheart online course is $295. And with this $100 off, it's only $195. And I will tell everyone out there, when they compare our Braveheart course to other courses, they'll see that our course is worth at least $2,000. But the reason why we did what we're doing is we're going to touch hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people with this course. And then the other gift is that we have given people what's called my audio called Get Emotionally Fit. It's a 2-hour audio to introduce them into the idea that they've never ever realized that they could become the master of their own mind, and that they could actually master their subconscious and not their subconscious master them, and how they can start getting rid of the emotional and physical pain in their body by just me showing them how to do techniques on how to erase and replace belief systems that are undermining their well-being. And then we're also giving you some articles that will teach people about the food combining, about how scar tissue is created, inflammation is created, and even about skin conditions. So.
Oh yes, that's amazing and a wonderful combination of things that you're giving us. So yes, if you would like access to that free gift, please click on the link below, and that would all be yours for free.